After months of calm under the shadow of the coronavirus, Hong Kong has exploded in renewed protests, with thousands of people taking to the streets. Police fired tear gas to disperse the crowd who gathered to protest China's new security law proposal that was drafted on Friday. Under the ruling, Beijing would be granted decidedly more power over the semi-autonomous city by punishing separatism, subversion of the Chinese government, or any behavior deemed to harm national security. The law would see Beijing circumvent Hong Kong's legislative body and allow the government to set up intelligence agencies on the island. That has sparked fears of Chinese agents being able to arbitrarily arrest people for activities deemed to be pro-democracy.
He's been undefeatable at the ballot box for over a decade, but now Benjamin Netanyahu is under a different kind of scrutiny. He faces several charges of fraud, breach of trust and bribery, the first ever brought against a sitting Israeli Prime Minister. The first, known as Case 1000, accuses Netanyahu of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of champagne, cigars and other luxury goods from two billionaires in exchange for tax favours. The other two cases concern the Israeli Prime Minister's relationship with two media moguls. Case 2000 accuses him of negotiating a deal with a newspaper owner for better coverage. The final case, named 4000, is the most serious. It alleges Netanyahu struck a reciprocal arrangement with the controlling shareholder of Israel's biggest telecommunications company.
In Brazil, the Supreme Court is investigating President Jair Bolsonaro's interference in the criminal probe against his son. On Friday, the court released a video of Bolsonaro's cabinet meeting. The president's expletive-laden rant instantly became a controversy in Brazil. Right at the center of this controversy is Bolsonaro's son, Carlos, against whom a criminal probe is underway. Bolsonaro was asked to surrender his cell phone as part of the investigation, but the president has refused to hand over his phone, citing national security reasons.
It's gone from bad to worse for Boris Johnson's top advisor, Dominic Cummings, now accused of two alleged breaches of the nation's lockdown. As Downing Street vows to stick by him, he today took on reporters outside his home, adamant that he's done nothing wrong.
He's usually seen in the background, but now Dominic Cummings is front and centre.
Social distancing.
Boris Johnson's chief of staff urging others to follow the rules.
You're supposed to be more than 2 metres apart.
Despite himself being accused of breaching them. It's been revealed in late March Mr Cummings travelled 400 kilometres to a home in northern England, despite government guidance that says leaving your home to stay at another home is not allowed. He says he went there with his wife because she was showing coronavirus symptoms and they wanted to be closer to family so that if he too fell ill, his young son would have childcare.
With the weather heating up, South Korea is going to double its production of thinner face masks of the type used for dentistry, which will be more comfortable to wear in the summer. In a briefing Sunday, Prime Minister Chung said the country will start making 1 million of them a day and import more when needed. If there ends up being a surplus, however, then those masks can be exported or donated. Meanwhile, as of noon on Sunday, 5 more cases of COVID-19 were found to be connected to the recent cluster infection in Seoul nightclubs, bringing the total number of related cases to 225. According to the Central Disease Control Headquarters, 96 are people who had themselves been to Itaewon, the neighborhood at the center of the cluster, and 129 are family, friends, or coworkers.
Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez had welcome news for his country's battered tourist industry on Saturday. Both local and foreign tourists can now start to prepare for their summer holidays. Tourism accounts for 12% of Spain's economy. I publicly invite all tourist establishments, bars, restaurants, beach destinations in the interior to prepare from today to restart their activities in a few days. That from July, the month of July, will resume the entry of foreign tourists to Spain in safe conditions. Foreign tourists can therefore now plan their holidays.
From lockdown to battening down. Furniture, branches, pots and ornaments were taken down today instead of becoming missiles tomorrow.
The message is that the whole west coast is at risk.
There's a large cold front sweeping up from the south and 2 low-pressure systems bearing down from the north, threatening to combine, smashing the top of the state early before pelting Perth in the evening and Monday.
It's from a different angle. So normally our storms come from the southwest. This is going to come from the northwest. So it'll test people's buildings, sheds.
Parts of the system have already drenched Christmas Island, and 24 hours out, it's been compared to this. A 2012 storm that wreaked havoc across Perth. The next 2 days could be no different.
It appears without a doubt that this is the latest attempt by the president to try and send the message that he wants the country to be back open. He wants things to return to normal, and he is certainly trying to will that return to normalcy into existence, even as we see those rising case counts still in several key parts of the country. The president now, he knew that he was being captured on camera. At one point, he waves to the photojournalists, including our Khalil Abdallah, during the footage that you can see of the president golfing. But the president, even though Secret Service agents were wearing masks, the president was not wearing a mask. Neither were his 3 other golfing partners. And we saw the president certainly not appearing to maintain any of that 6 feet of social distancing between him and his golf partners. Now, this comes as President Trump, he has previously criticized the last president, President Obama, for golfing amid a crisis. President Trump criticized President Obama after there was just a second confirmed case of Ebola back in 2014. Watch.
And you know, when you're president, you sort of say, like, I'm going to sort of give it up for a couple of years and I'm going to really focus on the job. How about right after the beheading He then walks over, he gives a news conference, and then walks right outside and tees it up.
Right.
You know, there are times to play golf. We all love golf. There are times to play, and there are times that you can't play. And it sends the wrong signal, but he plays a lot of golf.